G'day, my name's Mark. This one's all about how I bust down pallets, get the nails out, tools I have, and I hope you get something out of it. Cheers. There's generally two types of pallets. I think these are like your European design. They have the 9 blocks of wood and they have the slats. Then joining up those blocks of wood, what I find is I'll tend to use a jigsaw and just run those edges off because there is far too much breakage, nail removing. It's generally not worth the effort. I'll mostly only pick up these pallets purely for the colour of the timber. Otherwise, I'll just move on to the next ones. This is the other style pallet. You've got the 3 stringers. These ones are perfect for getting the pallet buster in there and lifting the pallet slats off without too much difficulty at all. You get to use the full length of the timber. You do have to bang out more nails, but you're not wasting as much timber, as you'll see how much I'm going to throw away on that other one. Alright, so the biggest advantage of a pallet buster is the long handle. So the long lever makes it really easy to pry the boards off. Using the pallet buster, it's less susceptible to cracking the timber. Another thing I like to do is just boot the pallet slats. I'll just kick them forward. I know they're forward of where I'm working. I'm not going to then step backwards and stand on a nail. Okay, another option is to just slide a bit of wood underneath your pallet, so the stringers are sitting on the wood. Grab yourself a crowbar and then just tap them out. So just using the weight of the crowbar, knock these ones out. They are a pine pallet and they do come apart easy. The bonus is the nail will be nice and straight, so you can then bash that out as well. Okay, if you don't have a crowbar, just grab a chunk of wood and smack it with a hammer. Or just smack it with your hammer. I don't do it that way anymore. In fact, I rarely did it that way because I got myself a pallet buster. It's going to save you the most grief, but use what you got. Here's one reason I should have made my pallet buster a little bit wider. For these types of pallets, it'd be nice if that just slipped over as well. I could pry those off quite easily. Okay, this is how I originally started out doing it. Although this doesn't look that hard, you're going to wear your shoulders out pretty quickly. It's very noisy. Get a pallet buster, trust me. But if you are going to do it, stick to the big crowbar. The little ones, again, it's just going to be more effort. Unless you're working on the guns, then go right ahead. Build them up. Have your nails hanging over the edge of any sturdy table. Okay, you'll get away with bending the fat nails over. Skinny nails, they'll generally just cause you a lot of grief. Another good reason for having a decent crowbar with a bit of length is if you're doing a lot of this, it just makes light work of it, having a bigger lever. Doing it with your hammer takes longer, it's worse on the arms. All right, get yourself a pair of these as well. Any nails that are bent over right near the edge, just cut them off. Whack them through, you'll get enough to put the hammer on. So, these ones, I know they're going to cause me grief straight away. Generally, I'll just cut them off. It is far quicker than attempting to knock them out. All right, and if you miss like that, you might get a second go at it. You stuff it up again. If you're having a bad day, just cut it off. Grab yourself a hole punch. They call me lightning. And you might just get enough of a head on it to pry it out. Okay, again, if you rip the head off the nail, these things are really good. More comes into play with the hardwood. Just a little squeeze on the nail, otherwise you'll cut it off at the base and then you'll be digging it out or discarding your piece of timber. You're going to need a few basic tools to get started. We all start with the cheapest stuff and whatever gets you in the game the quickest. So it's a hammer and a little pinch bar crowbar. Now, they'll work fine, but it's a fair bit of hard yakka. You'll probably end up just damaging your hammer and your shoulders from the amount of whacking you're going to do. First things first, get yourself a decent crowbar with a bit of length so you've got more lever, takes the load off, and it pulls the nails out of the hardwood nice and easy. And with that, get yourself a decent weighted metal mallet. So again, every tap counts, and it's going to drive the head of that crowbar deeper behind the nails, so when you pull it out, you've got less chance of cracking as well. So that'll get you started. You're going to quickly realise that both of those ways are pretty inefficient. What you want to do is get someone you know to make you one of these, okay? I call it the pallet buster. Angle on the edge there, that just helps it get in amongst some of the pallet slats that are a little closer together. If I made this again, I think I may have mentioned it, I'd make them slightly wider. So about 10 centimeters is going to pretty much cover all slats and all stringers, so you can get both prongs in under and less chance of cracking your timber. This thing is going to be the game changer from day one. So if you don't want to muck around, just go and get one of these made. I think you can buy them from shops as well, but you're going to pay about 80 or 90 bucks and not worth it. Get yourself some gloves. You're going to get tons of splinters when you're playing with pallet wood. So the initial busting down work, 2 gloves on, you're going to save yourself some grief. Okay, a steel cap shoe, and also a shoe that has a nice rigid inner sole. So if you do happen to stand on a nail, you're going to get a bit of protection. I go for a steel cap because I like to kick the pallet. Then I know it's traveling forward and it's out of my way. I'm not going to step back and stand on a nail. All right, hearing protection and glasses. You should have those already. Banging away on a metal crowbar in a shed is pretty loud, and that's going to damage your hearing just like any other machine in your shop. There's my screwdriver that I've just had on the grinder, put a sharp tip on. Okay, hole punch, you're going to need one of those. Now, this one goes out to all the tight asses, like me. Go and get yourself a metal detector. My advice, if you've got machinery, table saws, your drop saws, planers, thicknesses, get yourself a metal detector. This thing is going to save you so much money. You can't see what your machines are going to hit. Now, I punched through all the nails, and as I find, this thing will pick up all the shards really well, and they're the ones that are going to give all those fine nicks on your blades. So they're about 60 bucks. Get one early. Trust me. Okay, here's that European style pallet, a bit of leftover. I throw these parts in the bin. It is not worth the effort to pull all these apart, get the nails out, separate these. Just go and collect more pallets. You are left over with smaller pieces, but if you're building big pallet wood laminations, and you can go back and check my video how I build the big stuff that's bigger than a standard pallet, all of these are going to come in handy. Hey, jigsaw, probably one of the tools you might buy early on. Perfectly fine for cutting those pallet strips off. A little cordless or just a circular saw will whip through them much easier, much safer, and much quicker. Right, check this thing out. It is an air gun. So it's a pneumatic denailer. It shoots the nails right out of the board, or most of the time, or just a quick twig with the crowbar. Amazing for just putting it over a bent over nail and boom, shoot him out. It's fantastic. I haven't had one until now. I'll explain how I got it. So many people have suggested this thing, but now I'm good to go. I've now got this thing to shoot the nails out, and again I've been completely humbled by Mr. Steve Cortez. I'm going to chuck his Instagram handle down below. Just go and say g'day. Random act of kindness. It's they go a long way and it rubs off. So thanks very much, mate. You've just changed the game. Big time. Okay, I've just used the metal detector on all this stock. Pretty much half of it has come up with a tiny shard. So you can't see a nail in the hole, but there'll just be that little piece. So I'll go at it with a hole punch and just an old screwdriver that I've just put a bit of a tip on. And again, hit it with the metal detector until I get no beeps. Tiny little pieces, that's what's going to kill your planer blades. If I can't see that little bit of shard, then I'll just smack it through with a hole punch and then just check it with the metal detector again. Okay, so little bonus tip, this old screwdriver is actually a little bit magnetized. So a quick dig and the shard actually comes out and sticks to the screwdriver. One comment I get a lot is you're pretty lucky in Australia, you have lots of that really nice timber. Like look at this selection. Now this is all Merbau. It comes off these 7-meter pallets that get thrown out very occasionally. Now they are a very lucky find. Now what I do to find my pallets is I just drive by the back docks of your big box stores quite regularly, have a few places you know where they give those pallets away, and just take your time. You will get lucky, they are out there. I see lots of makers from overseas making stuff out of pallet wood. They are getting amazing colour. So just be patient, otherwise you will end up with just pine in whatever you're doing. Pine is fine, especially when you paint it. You cover all that pine up. Anyway, don't want to be a pine snob. So the biggest criticism or comment that you probably get when you start working with pallets is, are they harmful? It depends on what pallets you pick up and what condition they're in. Avoid any pallet with the letters MB, that's methyl bromide. They don't use that chemical anymore in pallets, or they shouldn't be. It's an ozone depleting chemical. It's bad stuff, so you don't want to be sanding, cutting, getting that into your system or on your skin. Just have a look all over the pallet and make sure you check both sides. Sometimes you'll see the HT for heat treated, they're good to go. Flip it over and you'll see an MB. Generally, if pallets don't have any stamps at all, particularly in Australia, they're domestic pallets, they're not treated with anything, they might just have a bit of paint on them, they're good to go. Use a bit of common sense, get online, there's a heap of information, forums, etc. about pallet wood. Why use pallet wood? Because it's free, it is hot in the shed. It is the perfect material to get into woodwork. Yes, you've got to do a lot of work and there are risks that you leave a bit of metal in, it might damage your blades, but again, follow the tight ass tips and you can't really go wrong. And it is amazing what you can start to do with it, how you can turn it into really good material with a bit of TLC. And the good thing is you bugger it up, you just go and get another pallet. If you're wondering what took me so long to get one of these, and it actually got to the point where someone bought one for me, I justify every tool I buy in the shed. So yes, I'm a tired ass, but as you get into this and you get very addicted to woodwork, you're going to realize there's lots of things to buy. So buying a air gun and an air compressor, that's a couple of $100 away from, say, buying your first table saw. So for me, I couldn't justify it is because I have arms and a heartbeat, so I can beat the snot out of the nails and get the job done. I also don't mind the hard yakka, so this hobby sort of replaced all the other things I like to do, like go for a ride and get a bit of exercise. So smashing nails for an hour, getting all hot and sweaty, that's pretty good for your brain anyway. So again, I didn't mind that at all. Just, you are going to get addicted to this hobby. It's great fun, and it comes with cost. But like what I did, I started out slow, started out small and simple, made things, found a product that I could sell, and that helped me pay for everything that you see in the shed now. Anyway, that was thought of the day. Leave it with you. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated.